Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Paranormal, the New Normal. I'm your host, as always, Jeremy, here trying to bring a little normalcy to this world. Does it ever fucking happen? No. Sadly, no, this world's not normal, and never was going to be normal. So we would digress, though, and we are happy to have on another guest that's going to help us make this world a little more stranger, and I fucking love it. So my
Absolutely.
guest, my guest tonight is Medium Jenny Lea, host of the Witching Hours podcast. That's right, folks. I got another podcaster on, which you know those are the best damn episodes. So, well, welcome, Jenny. Glad to have you
Thanks.
on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure as always. And well, let's kick this off right. The first question I have asked over 200 people on this show. What got you into the paranormal?
My family's a bunch of weirdos. My dad talked about all kinds of weird stuff from day one, past lives and ETs and UFOs and ghosts and weird stuff. So it was just something like your show says. It was just the normal thing for me to have that as part of my day to day. And then I have been also experiencing that kind of thing myself from early on as well.
Well, damn. That might be the best answer I've ever gotten to that question. My
My parents are
my,
weirdos.
my family is a bunch of weirdos. That's the
Yeah,
best answer I've ever gotten. Best damn answer I've ever gotten.
it's just the
Whew.
truth, Jeremy. It's just the
Well, I mean, I 100% believe that, and thank you, Journey of Self Discovery. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Giant of the Frost. I freaking love that name. But thank you for watching as well. And Priestess of Wonder. Damn, a lot of names I like tonight. What the freak? I need you guys to watch more regularly.
That's
Those
all
names
my
are.
friends.
I see that. I see that. Well, I guess the second question is because that question usually takes a lot longer than that. But the second question is: have you had any experiences with anything from the paranormal side, whether it be ghosts, spirits, aliens, cryptids? Take your pick. Any of it, and anything I didn't mention.
Yes, absolutely. I think I was open to such things early on. I had experiences my whole life, and now I'm work as a medium. So that's just my life now is dealing with the spirit world and talking to not just spirits, but we also talk to ETs and angels and higher dimensional entities and all kinds of strange things.
So many questions out of that one answer. So many. All right. Well, let's start with the route that we deal with the most, and that's going to be ghosts and spirits, because we gotta get it out of the way. We gotta get them out of the way. I mean,
Yeah.
they're there. I am surrounded by them at all times in this freaking house, and I just live with it. But I, all right. So when it comes to ghosts and spirits, and someone who is a medium such as you, who deals with these on a regular basis, rather than just say, "So what experiences you have with these?" Like I gotta be a little more specific because
Yeah.
it's ghosts and spirits. So,
Narrate to a time or some kind of type of experience. Yeah.
well, the questions I usually like to ask for these type of experiences is, what was the most horrifying ghost experience you ever had?
Scariest experience was we were living in a house very temporarily, not because it was haunted, just because it was a temporary thing. Um, Never saw anything with my eyes, but it was the most frightening place I've ever lived. There was just this presence there that as soon as the sun went down, you did not want to be in the living room. It was, let's go to bed. Let's go to bed at the same time. And if I have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I'm running because there's something standing in the door and it is absolutely hateful and scary.
Gonna need a little elaboration on that. Uh, Just a little
I
elaboration.
never saw it. I never got a sense of what it was.
But if it was so scary, what did it
It
do?
was a
Like,
sen it was just it was a overwhelming feeling, an overwhelming sense, and it wasn't just me, it was my husband as well, and then our at the time, our oldest child was a baby, and his nursery room was supposed to be on the other side of the house, and he would never sleep in there, not even during the day.
interesting. I
Yes.
mean, so was this like a poltergeist type of thing where it would throw things or like slam doors on you?
No, there was never anything that happened. It was just this absolutely awful feeling. Now, many years later, in a workshop that I was helping as to be an example for other people that were learning how to be mediums, um, I sat in this group of people that were learning to be mediums, and I told them my experience, and they went to see what it was, like kind of almost like a remote viewing or what have you. And the consensus of this group of people was that it was an some kind of elemental, and it had the head of a wolf, and that it wasn't specifically mean or nasty, it was just protecting the land.
Are
But
we are we are we possibly, oh, do we possibly think or do we possibly know if it's Native American origin by chance?
that was my guess.
It sounds like it. I mean, that almost sounds like the spirit of a shimwalker.
It was in an area that is heavily, still to this day, like the Native American influence. So that was my guess.
Oof, okay,
Yeah,
I mean, that's creepy. That's
it
creepy.
was. Luckily, we didn't live there very long, and it didn't follow us, so that was good.
No, I mean, which kind of lends to the credence of the elemental claim because they typically don't leave the area they're in. They like to stay and
Yeah,
protect, stay in
exactly.
guard. So, I mean, definitely makes sense. Shit. Like, like I live in a house full of spirits, some permanent, some visiting, who knows? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know who they all are even. And ooh, apparently I thought of something someone else didn't, because China the Frost says, I never thought of a shimwalker. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't like to say that name in my podcast. But
Yeah, that's my husband, so he was the other half of that terrifying spirit.
ah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, a shimwalker is definitely in my mind, at least the most obvious perpetrator of that, because and the
Mhm.
wolf head kind of gives it away in my mind. It just kind of
Yeah.
gives it away. Most spirits are just chilling there with the wolf head unless they're freaking Anubis. So,
Yeah.
and I highly doubt Anubis was just chilling in
No.
America. I don't think
No.
they
Not
it
in the
would do that.
backwoods of Virginia, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, stranger things, stranger things.
Yes, very
But
true.
well, the part B to that question though is what is the most emotional experience you have with the spirit, whether it be a crossing over or just something that made you break down like in tears or in complete sadness because you had to witness it.
Um, Yikes. Let's
Yeah,
see.
it's a hard one. It's always a hard one.
There's been quite a few emotional experiences. I think the most recent one that was extremely emotional for me was, not only am I the co-host of the Witching Hours podcast, but I also, like Ali Cardinale, who you had on back in December, I stream live on Twitch, and I do medium readings and tarot readings on Twitch. And I've been doing that for about 3.5 years. So I've built up a huge community of people that are just wonderful and amazing. And one of the small groups of people in that group was a family, is a mom and three her three children. Well, over the course of those 3 years, the mom, she had had cancer previously, and her cancer came back.
Ooh,
and then she passed away. And I knew eventually that she would be one of the people that came through in one of my medium readings for her children. And she did. And that was just like overwhelming because it was someone that I had read for 3 years. And her family is there, and then I had to be the voice to bring her forward from the other side. It was really beautiful, but also very difficult.
I can imagine, but if you're with somebody for so long, I can only imagine that bringing them to the other side would be, in a way, the complete circle being done. Like it would just be.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
it'd be something you'd want to do almost because it's that you know they're going to go there eventually, and why not be the one to lead them?
Yeah,
It closes out that chapter in a way, almost.
yes, very
But
true. I like that thinking of it being in a circle. Yeah,
everything's a circle in life.
it is.
Every fucking thing.
Yeah, it's like a
I
circle.
There's a reason beer cans are a circle. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But and cigarettes and everything else that makes life enjoyable. But all right. You said though that you talked to extraterrestrials, and
Yes, sir.
that got my mind a going so hard, so hard. Now I've talked to plenty of people on the show, talked to extraterrestrials on a regular
Hmm.
basis. So I gotta ask, any particular species that
Yes.
jump? Oh, okay, fuck yeah.
One of them that comes through on a regular basis is they call themselves Palladians, but it's only so
Oh,
that we can understand where they're coming from. And actually, more recently, it has been determined that they actually come from a place that's past the Pleiades from our perspective. But in order for us to understand and have a label to put on them, which is a human thing that we must do, they
mm-hmm.
like for us to call them the Palladians. And they come through on a regular basis for a specific person that I read for.
I mean, it's funny you say that because no one has ever mentioned that before. That they're not actually Palladians. Like
Yeah.
one of the species that's thought to have founded Earth in a way. Like, and yet they're not what we call them after tens of thousands of years of knowing they exist.
Well, there's different types of ETs that are from that area. So the ones that come through for us are not necessarily the ones that you might be thinking of. Are you thinking of like the tall Nordics?
No, not the Norse. Not
Okay.
the Norse.
Okay.
That's a whole.
Oh, yeah.
That's Valiant Thor. That's a whole different breed of extraterrestrial right there. And I mean, the Nordic ones live among us at all times. We just don't know it.
Yeah.
But
I think, yeah, probably. I mean, they're supposed to look like humans, really. Just pretty humans.
I mean, I mean, I was gonna say, ladies, they're that older guy you dated in college that never called you again. That's a Norse. That's a Norse extraterrestrial. Just saying, putting that out there in the world. But no, I mean Palladians, from my understanding, what I've been told, because I have no extraterrestrial experience at all, unfortunately. Oh, maybe not so unfortunately, based on what I've heard in the past, but I'll say unfortunately. But Palladians, from what I understand, look kind of like the extraterrestrials from Camino in Star Wars. I was told that's kind of what they're similar to: tall, skinny,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
very white, not pale, but like just pure white.
Yes. So the
Oh,
way that they show up for me is they have some variety to them. Some of them have a whitish skin. Some have like an iridescent kind of skin to it. Some can be more bluish and some can be more greenish, but it's all kind of based around that white, like pearlescent almost. And I guess in a lot of ways, they could be referred to as like tall grays, like is kind of
it's
what they look like, but they're different. Like their faces to me seem a little bit a little tiny bit more human than what we know of as like what a gray looks like.
I I still swear to this day, because Hollywood takes ideas from the paranormal community all the time.
Yeah.
I swear to God that George Lucas took the stories he was hearing, and that's what he designed why can't I say their fucking real name? But the chameleons.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And the first
Yeah.
time I saw them, that I drew a picture of it, and that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny that the Palladians are supposed to be master cloners that cloned humans and kind
Hmm.
of made them into a science experiment back in the pre-ancient days.
Yeah.
But and yet that's also what they did in Star Wars, just saying that people, I'm giving you gold. I'm giving you gold
Yeah.
information here that no one fucking believes. But Hollywood, extraterrestrials, it happens all the freaking time. But
A lot of fiction is based on truth.
scarily, yes, very
Yeah.
scarily. Because I'll get into that later maybe. But Jesus, I have another one that's just like that, and it's scary almost. But so you said mainly Palladians.
Hmm.
Do you get any other species by chance?
Yes.
Ooh, okay, I was gonna start naming them, but okay, I'm waiting.
They don't come through as often because the way that things happen for me, because I'm reading for other people, these entities that come through are coming through for the person I'm reading for. They're not coming through for me. I'm just a voice. So we've had the Andromedans once. We had a species that looked like the rock person from the Neverending Story.
You
The rock
mean
biter.
yeah, I was gonna say you mean kind of like Korg from Thor, or
Yes, like it was made of stone. Yes, we've had the best one was a non-humanoid that came through that looked like a slime mold, but they were so intelligent, and that was probably one of my favorite experiences because they said that all life is sentient, and that was like life changing for me.
well, I mean, it makes sense in a way. It really does, because I mean, everything is sentient to some degree. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say everything's on the same level per se, but I mean, there's definitely similarities in the sentence of everything. I mean,
Hmm.
trees are freaking sentient to some degree of nature. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think they're walking around like the freaking Lord of the Rings, but I mean,
Yeah. Too bad
then no, I was gonna say I've heard not many, but I've heard a few stories of that. So
some
I don't
tree
know.
ants. That'd be sweet.
I mean, I swear to God, I've heard tale of someone watching the forest behind his house from his second-story window, and it looked like one of the trees was actually moving through the forest.
Wow, that's neat.
I mean, there could be a lot of things. It really could, but
Yeah, never know.
I don't know. There are plant cryptids out there. There's not many, but they do exist. We did a whole episode on them on one of my other shows no longer exist, and it's definitely interesting. I mean, there's definitely a lot that exist, and I don't know. I don't know. Stranger Things, I guess. Stranger
Yeah,
Things, but so you never channeled a reptilian though, huh?
no, and I never
Ooh.
channeled a gray.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, grays don't really like to be channeled.
Well, I talked to someone about that, and the small grays are actually like supposedly like a biological AI. So unless
Huh.
they were super close up to you, you wouldn't be able to telepathically talk to them anyway.
Oh, so they're basically like servant beings in a way?
Yeah, they're like biological robots.
Interesting. But yet they can shapeshift, which kind of has me perplexed per se.
I don't know if there's necessarily shape shifting as more they're putting a an image in your mind of what they want you to see.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
that makes. I mean, it mainly happens to children, from what I've heard. So
Hmm.
I could believe it. I could believe it. I could definitely. I could see that. Okay, that would make sense as well, I
Yeah,
guess.
they call it like a screen memory. Like you see something that's not as scary than what they look like.
I don't know. Some of the ones, some of the ones I've heard of people seeing are like,
Are even more scary.
uh, no, just well, I guess it could be, but I mean, I've heard of I've heard of someone who, when they were a kid, they saw Dunstan, like full monkey with overalls and everything else, like come in the room at night.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And I've also heard of one of a T-Rex in a lab coat.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
I don't know if that would terrify the fucking shit out of me or if that would be cute.
I guess it depends on what size it was. If it was a
I,
life-size T-Rex, that would be terrifying.
I mean, yeah,
If
I'd
it's like a
probably
little tiny T-Rex, that might be kind of cute.
I'd be pissing that shit in the bed and freaking running. But goddamn T-Rex, like, ugh, no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
especially the Dunstan one, that definitely sounds like they went in the memory of the kid and picked something that they thought wouldn't be scary and, showed that instead.
I mean, don't get me wrong, a monkey in overalls would be cute as shit, and I probably wouldn't
Yeah.
mind that too much. I
Mhm.
mean, unless it starts ripping my face off, then we might have an issue. But
That's true.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, those are two examples that always just stuck out in my head. I've heard of other ones. I just never could remember them like exactly. Those two always just stuck out in my head though because they're so damn
Those are
strange.
weird.
But I mean, well, thank you, Derek Hayes from Monsters Among Us podcast for bringing me all these great stories to use in my podcast eventually. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know. Have you ever come across an intrusion? I gotta ask because I've heard that name twice now in the last 6 months, and it's becoming more of a thing.
I have not heard that name, but tell me about it and maybe I
I
might.
wish I could, but I really don't know how to explain them even. Like
Okay.
I've had two people tell me about them, but they really haven't given like
I don't
descriptions
haven't
per
given
se.
descriptions. Yeah.
No, they talk to them and they're called intrusions.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Okay, I'm not the only one. Good. Glad to hear that.
It'll probably be
Eh,
like
eh,
one of those things where now that I've heard it, I'll hear it all over the place. You know how that
uh,
goes.
I'm hoping, but
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny because there was a synchronicity to it too, because the same day I released the first episode in podcast form where the guest talked about that, because he actually wrote a book about about talking to them.
Oh,
But
cool.
the second guest I had, I was actually recording the live that same day that the first episode released. So I was like, and when she brought it up, I literally like almost jumped out of my seat. You can see it in the video, almost like, what? The name of a species I only heard once before, and you're telling me about it on
Yeah.
the same day that episode happened to release. It couldn't have been
Mhm.
planned. I had
Nope.
no idea that was going to come up at all. Like, oh my God.
Not a
The synchronicity.
coincidence.
Oh, it's definitely not. Synchronicities exist for a damn reason in this world, and oh my God, like it's just insane. But
Absolutely.
I, when stuff like that happens, you'll literally see me slack jawed, like trying to mumbling to get my words right, because it's like, eh, what intrusions? What the hell are those? But
Yeah.
all right. Any really interesting extraterrestrial experiences that might leave my audience shocked and awed, or are they all been kind of similar?
Um, there's been so many now. It's hard for me to remember them all. But there was another one where we had some kind of aquatic creature that lived in an ocean that was similar to a whale.
Huh.
Um, and then we've also had some entities that aren't extraterrestrial. I think that I'm still trying to figure all of these out, but I think they might just be in other realms within our own realm.
Ultra terrestrials, yeah.
Yeah, they're just here with us, but they're in a different space, you know. We've
Dimension, yeah.
had we've had mushroom people. That was fun.
Ooh, the infamous mushroom people. Love it.
They were so fun, and you just wanted to like go hang out with them because they were like all dancing around, and it was great.
My biggest problem with those is I'd be sitting there like looking at them, just they looking at me like, why are you staring at me? I'd be like, what do you taste like?
I don't like mushrooms, so I think I'll be all right.
Oh, I love I mean, I love mushrooms in my food. It's like one of the greatest things on earth. So if I saw a giant walking around one, I'd be like, all right, all right. If one of you passes and I eat you, am I gonna be like, is that gonna be a problem, or
Yeah.
how we gonna do this? Guy at least get like a bite? Like I
Yeah.
don't.
Don't eat the mushroom
What?
people.
Don't eat the mushroom people. I fucking. I might just give this episode a name right there with that one. I really might have. Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Don't eat the mushroom people. Oh my god. Mushroom people. I mean, ultra terrestrials do exist. I mean, I've heard multiple stories of ultra terrestrials from people that astral project, from people that the other word I can't think of at the moment. Lucid dream. Like
Mhm.
people, I've had a couple guests on who do that, and it's pretty clear that there are other dimensions. I've heard the number 17 thrown around a lot for the amount of dimensions that exist. So I don't,
Yeah.
I have no way of knowing for sure, in my personal opinion, but
Mhm.
it, I feel like it'd be infinite, really, but we just haven't discovered more than
Yeah.
17. But
Yeah.
maybe, but um, so I mean, I've heard there are giant creatures from other dimensions. I've heard there are little Pudgewuggy Hobbit-like people from other dimensions, and I've heard there's some stuff that can't be described, and it's just terrifying, and you want to get out of there. But
Yeah. I mean, I think there's the possibilities are endless for sure.
yes, I mean, what do you think about this? Because this is kind of like a idea I had a while ago.
Okay.
Because we talk a lot on this earth about Nephilim, giants, whatever you want to call them. Do you think that that giants are just ultra-terrestrial, they're just from another dimension by chance, or do you think they actually existed on Earth at some point?
I think there I think that according to the stories, if you look at the stories as evidence, there has to have been, because almost every culture has a giant story of some sort. And so I do think that they were absolutely something. Whether we understand what they were for real or not is to be seen still. Whether they came from a different place, that's a possibility as well. I mean, who knows?
I mean, see, that's my theory for them is I mean, yeah, I look at the history, I look at the mythology, and it's just like so many examples. But I
Yeah.
mean, the giant of Kandahar, an example in the last 15 years of an actual giant that supposedly the U.S. military killed.
Mm,
Supposedly, I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know if I truly believe that, but I mean, they would. So it doesn't really surprise me too much if they did, but
Yeah.
they would. But instead of saying, "Oh, let's get this guy to come back with us and run some tests and see where he is," and no, let's just shoot at it because we're
Yeah.
Americans and
It's
we're stupid. But
pretty human thing. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, it's a goddamn American thing. But um, if it moves, we can shoot it. But or even if it doesn't move, we can still shoot it. Look at all the trees. But maybe that's why they don't move. Just saying. But I don't know. I mean, there's so many examples of these giants, these behemoth creatures in history. There's so many mound grave sites where they find the skeletons of giant creatures. And
Yeah.
then, oh, look, they call the Smithsonian, the skeleton disappears within a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe I mean, it could go either way still, though. It could still be like an ancient creature that still walks among us in some parts of the world, like a lot of other creatures. Or it's ultra terrestrial and it pops over when it wants to, and if it unfortunately happens to die while on this plane, its bones shall stay in this plane. But
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, the government wouldn't want us to know either way about it, so I don't really, I don't question the fact that the government doesn't want us to know because we all know that's a fact for a lot of things.
Yes.
But I question why. The why don't they want us to know? I mean,
Yeah. What's the big deal about that one? It's just big people.
I, huh? I don't think the government doesn't like anything they can't control. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest part of it. I think that's the biggest part of it. But
And the,
Which
yeah.
if they couldn't control us, people, they wouldn't have such control over us. Just saying. I mean,
And the science community doesn't like anything they can't explain, and the religious community
it,
doesn't want anything that goes against what they believe. So yeah, it's just kind of a miss.
true, truth. I mean, I think the
Although
science
the Bible
community.
does have giants in it, so then that just kind of go with their
It
beliefs.
does,
Yeah,
but they all get killed. So
that's true.
what, whether in the Great Flood or by a rock to the eye, they all get killed. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like religion would have even more reason to cover it up because you wouldn't be able to kill them that easy. And and then the Bible lied. What? That can't be. But, yeah, but
But also, if you think about the fact that at one point in Earth's history, everything was huge. If humans go back that far, it would make
yeah,
sense that there would be huge people too. I mean, we haven't discovered that we go back that far, but they keep finding older and older humans. So you never know.
very true, very true. I mean, if we actually existed back in the age of the megafauna,
Yeah.
it could have been a whole different thing. I mean, look at the supposedly slaughtered Gigantopithecus and
Hmm.
how I mean they were huge according
They
to the bones
were.
we found.
Yeah.
But I mean, are they extinct? I don't know. It
Yeah.
depends what you believe about a couple different creatures in the paranormal world. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think they all died out. I think they kind of just said humans go this way, we go this way because they're dicks. But
Yeah.
I
Most of
think
the time.
I think that's how I've always figured it went. I mean, whether they really are the ancestors of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or
Yeah.
the ancestors of giants, or all the above, I don't know. I mean, maybe I think they saw that humans were doing one thing over here, and they're like, these assholes are killing us. Let's just go this way.
It's very
Let's go hide in the deepest jungles and the biggest caverns in the mountains until they push us out of there eventually too in a couple thousand years.
never know.
I mean, I don't know. Once again, paranormal. The answer always is I don't know, but
Yep. Don't know.
want to know. Don't know though. But
Yep.
which I kind of I'll let you know. We'll segue back to that in a little bit, hopefully. But I gotta ask, since you're in Virginia area,
Hmm.
so what is your theory on the Mothman?
Hmm.
Because that's your neck of the woods, so I'm kind of dying to know now.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Mothman's, from what I understand, mostly in West Virginia, but we did travel up there recently to Mothman country. Um, I don't know, that main story of people seeing the Mothman and that bridge collapsed is pretty compelling.
Point
Um,
Pleasant, yep.
yeah, so that's a great story, whether it's, whether it's for real or not. Um, I don't really know. I haven't had any experience with the Mothman, but I'll believe just about anything. So,
I mean, it's it's not just the fact that it's the story, the original story of it in
mhm.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia. I mean, it's the fact that it was seen at Chernobyl before the reactor blew. It's the point that it was seen and it was talked about by Trump being in Chicago.
Mm.
And if you go back to my older episodes, like November 22, maybe
Mhm.
around then, I actually had a gentleman from Massachusetts who saw the Mothman when he was in high school with a group of friends
That's
in
cool.
Massachusetts,
Yeah.
far from Virginia.
Mhm.
So and far from Chernobyl. I mean, I don't know. I feel like to me, I kind of feel like the Mothman does exist because it's been seen in so many places all over the world.
Mhm.
It's there's more than one, I think at least. I don't know.
I always got the feeling that it wasn't that the Mothman wasn't showing up to cause the destruction, though, as more of like a warning. That's always what I felt about it.
Well, I mean, that's when the whole discussion comes in of what
Yeah.
is this freaking thing? Is it an angel that forewarns of doom to save
Yeah.
humanity?
Mhm.
Or is it a demon that brings forth the doom to smite humanity?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I tend to lean more on the angel side, even though I hate that freaking word more than anything in the world. But I tend to lean more in the because I just think I think angels are just extraterrestrials and that they're just were labeled in the Bible like that because why the hell not? But and because the Vatican's been hiding ships since the beginning of time, so we all know that. But
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are forewarners of doom and they just want everybody to be safe. So I mean, we just had that last bridge collapse in I'm not
Baltimore,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, Baltimore. That
Hmm.
that was like 2 weeks ago, and I kept waiting for the reports to come out. Like
Yeah.
strange,
They see a
strange,
Mothman.
strange creature seen flying in the sky before bridge collapse.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I don't know. It's 100% possible, I guess. I mean, maybe it was there. I mean, I don't know. Mothman being a angel slash extraterrestrial kind of would make sense in a way. That's why
Hmm.
it's not always. That's why it's only seen when there's danger or I mean, I don't know what the hell's happening in Chicago at that time that
Yeah.
they wanted to be there. Besides, it was right after Trump got elected president. So I mean, who the fuck knows? But
Danger,
it,
danger.
I don't know. I think we're in a little more danger now than we were back then. But that's me.
Yeah.
But I don't like to go
It's
into.
always getting worse. Seems like it just
I,
keeps getting worse. Yeah.
it truly does. But I try to avoid politics in this show as
Me
much as
too.
possible,
Yeah.
as much as possible. But
I just like
and
avoiding it in general.
But I mean, if I could throw a Sleepy Joe joke in there at some point, I'm gonna do it. But that's me. That's me. That's me. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I see. This is one of those things that drives me nuts. Is like I could sit here all night talking about it and be like, just going around in circles. Which way is it gonna go? And there's there's probability and plausibility for each of these theories. I don't
Yeah.
truly know which way it could go, but I don't know. It makes some. I mean, flying cryptids are just unique because there's not many of them anymore. There really isn't, and that's actually one of the few. Like Mothman is one of the few. Besides, I mean, I guess
Hmm.
thun- Thunderbirds possibly, but
Oh yeah.
I, I just think they're pterodactyls. So there's not really too much of a mystery in my mind there. But
Yeah. Could be.
well, actually, okay. I segued myself into it. I gotta fucking go ahead now. What do you think about the idea of living dinosaurs still?
I think
Besides, besides Komodo dragon and alligators, I gotta throw that
I
out there because
think
people
that
always try to throw it that way.
a lot of people. I always felt that a lot of people's depictions in the cultures around the world of dragons was because that's what was it was dinosaurs left over. That's what I always felt. Um,
I like
However,
that.
I have experienced a dragon that's, I guess, I don't know how to explain it. Like a
Elemental.
spirit form of a dragon.
I've heard.
We've had that happen too. So I don't
I've
know.
had a. I had. God, I'm not gonna remember who it is now, but I've had a guest on who. That's who they talked to. I believe it
Mhm.
was a. I believe it was a her, but if I'm not mistaken, but I believe she talked to dragon elementals, dragon spirits, and that's who gave her readings. That's who
Yeah,
gave her ideas were these dragon spirit elementals. And I've also had on Lon Strickler. I don't know if you know have heard that name, but
that sounds familiar.
he he's a paranormal investigator out of Pennsylvania,
Hmm.
and he's been doing it for 30, 40 years. He's really in the paranormal investigator world. He's huge, but he was one of my earlier guests as well, and he actually has fed and field reports out that of dragons being outside Pennsylvania mines,
Oh wow.
like physical skin and blood dragons.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I mean,
That's neat.
it. I think it does tie into the idea of living dinosaurs. Definitely, the
Yeah.
fact that dragons are still seen. I mean, I
Hmm.
would kind of love to see a dragon from inside. I don't want to be outside with it, but I'll definitely look out the window and be like, a dragon. Call my son, and be like, get over here, boy. Look at this. You love these things. You love these things.
Yeah.
You want to go try to ride it? No, good. I don't want either. But it's.
And
I
then
mean,
in the oceans too. I mean, there's so much we don't know about the
oh,
oceans. I mean,
I mean,
could there
that's
be a dinosaur type creature left over in the ocean? Absolutely. We don't know jack
yes.
squat about the oceans.
Oh, Loch Ness definitely exists, and there definitely is a hole somewhere in the bottom of that loch. that goes to the ocean, I believe. And I think that's what sea monsters have been since the beginning of time when humans started seeing them. I think it's always just been different remnants of dinosaurs or possibly maybe an extraterrestrial thrown in there just for shits and giggles. Why not? But
Could be, could be.
I mean, it would make sense. They do love the water. There's reasons UFOs go into the water, but I don't know. But there's water species from what I've been told. So, and I
Mhm.
think you mentioned one kind of, I think so.
Yeah, yeah. It was a ocean on a different planet, but yeah, we did see
Well, of
kind of
course. I mean,
some
but
kind of extraterrestrial whale
I
type
mean,
creature.
but if they're from an ocean on a different planet,
Hmm.
then why wouldn't they come here and just want to go in the ocean because that's what they're used to? Like it makes
Yeah.
sense. And I mean, goodbye and thank you for all the fish. But 100% it makes sense.
I
But
think you said why they wouldn't want to come here because same thing of Gigantopithecus. Nobody
I
wants to
mean,
come
but
here because the humans are jackasses.
oh, humans are assholes. All the extraterrestrials know that's true. All of them.
Oh
But
goodness.
I mean, it kind of makes you think though, because it's like they if they did come here, where's the one place that humans don't really go that much?
The
Deep in
ocean,
the ocean.
they can't swim very well.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can some of us. I can swim decently, but I mean, I ain't diving down no 60,
Yeah,
100 feet into the
we
freaking
can't go
ocean trying
deep
to
in
find
the
shit.
ocean. Our
Yeah,
bodies
we can't
are not
go,
made for that.
and our ships can't even really do it to a degree. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, we do have ships that can go pretty damn deep nowadays, but we're not exploring every square inch of the ocean
Yeah.
at the same time. So, oh gee, we're looking this way. What just swam behind us? Oh, we have no freaking clue. But I mean, it'd be pretty easy to play give a hide and seek with us and never get found. So
Absolutely.
I don't. But I mean, the main reason I kind of believe in living dinosaurs is, of course, my good friend Mokelium Bembe, because that's one of my buddies over there in the Congo, I want to say. And I mean, the fact that there's a brontosaurus that's been seen in the Congo for hundreds of years, thousands of years,
Wow.
is mind blowing. Just mind freaking blowing. I mean, and that, these natives have been seeing it it's been passed down stories from their people for generations.
That's
And
really
when the white people first get there and they're like, oh, so like you have this big creature. Is it this? Like literally going through a book of all the known animals. Like, is it this? Is it this? And there's like, nope, nope. Oh, what's that on that page? That's a dinosaur. They're extinct. No, they're not. That's what we see. Like, I, the stupidity of white people amazes me. It really does. But I mean that, and of course, I've heard rumors of a civilization in Peru that worships a velociraptor type creature that lives in the forest around them. So I don't know what to think of that. I just know I'm not going to Peru, but not on the bucket list anymore. Not on the bucket list. All right, after going, is it Peru or Chile or Argentina? I never can remember, but it's one of those three countries. I want to say Argentina or Chile, but supposed to be in the jungle. There's velociraptors, so stay out of the jungle. Don't pull a Newman. But yeah, so I mean, those two plus Thunderbirds plus sea monsters, all that just basically tells me, yes, living dinosaurs exist still. They found a way to escape the asteroids, supposedly,
Yeah,
but
it's very possible.
or or were they killed off by aliens? I don't know. But either way, I mean, I kind of feel like there's only one way it could happen, though, and that would mean that Hollow Earth has to exist. Like the Hollow Earth theory would have to be semi-true.
That's also possible.
I mean, I don't know. Have you ever gone to the Hollow Earth in your show?
No, we haven't had anybody talk about that yet. We haven't had a
God,
Hollow Earth expert.
there. I have never actually heard of a Hollow Earth expert. I've heard of flat Earth experts, and they're idiots. So I mean, I don't.
That one's a
But
tough
but
one, yeah.
I had one on one show, and I freaking tore him apart to the point where he just was silent. I was like,
Uh,
yeah, I just disproved your. I'm sorry, buddy, but I just proved your theory in a couple words. So,
mhm.
I mean, flat Earth can't exist, people. It can't. It's literally physically impossible. Oh God. I'm sorry. That always gets me. But I mean, Hollow Earth alone, like, there's no experts I've actually heard of or met, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm pretty much almost the closest thing to an expert on this. But I mean, they kind of hit it with Skull Island first, and then Kong versus Godzilla. Because I mean, that whole idea of like there being a Hollow Earth. I mean, Land Before, not Land Before Time. Land of the Lost. All like that
Mhm.
kind of tied into it as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that there's another sun and there's a sky in the middle of the earth. I don't think any of that bull crap that's in movies.
Yeah.
I think it's just caverns, lots and lots of caverns connecting that are huge, and this is where a lot of cryptids are. This is where a lot of cryptids are. This is where the dinosaurs are.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the same area. Not in the same area as I don't think, because that would be pandemonium and a good movie. But Hollywood, listen, please. But I think it's just like there's pockets in the Hollow Earth of, and that's where all these creatures hide. I mean, if you look at all the missing 411 in America alone, and the fact that the right all those cases are right over cave systems, like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's just it
I
all
actually
lines up.
I was just reading some like a channeled information from a
Mm.
ET extraterrestrial, and um, that's what they said. That's what they said. They said that the inside of our Earth is like a honeycomb, and that there is a lot of different types of things that are inside of the Earth.
You see, when the extraterrestrials agree with me, that's when I get happy. That's when I get freaking happy.
Yeah.
Woo!
So the what
Love
you
it.
were talking about pockets in the Earth, like I just read that, like that it's like a honeycomb. They said.
Which would make sense, and I mean,
Mhm.
the Native Americans tell of stories of going on spiritual quests through a cave systems,
Mhm.
and nobody's been completely through his cave systems since then. So
Yeah, and what if all of the underworld stories of the different cultures in the world is just that? It's not like hell, that it's just these pockets under the earth.
I mean, if I kind of had to walk down a pocket of demon-looking things, or even a pocket that's just a home for dogmen or Sasquatch, yeah, I might think I'm in hell. I might think I'm in some kind of hell. I don't
But
I
then
don't know. I mean,
there's other stories where it's just like there's just people down there.
I mean, but that would bring forth the idea of, I mean, that would bring forth the idea of, I don't know, different races. Oh, actually, okay, no, this kind of ties in. This kind of ties in. Okay, I just had guests last week. Um, a married couple. In fact, I'm gonna forget their names, and I apologize because I'm horrible with names, unless unless I talk about this person on a regular basis. But oh wait a minute, Leslie and Stephen Shaw.
Mhm.
I think I got that right. But
Yes, you did. Yeah.
okay, you know who they are. So
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. She is a psychic medium with some extraterrestrial experience, and he has been an alien abductee for 3 generations. His family
Yeah.
has been alien abductees for 3 generations,
Mhm.
and they literally said that they have been told that extraterrestrials were on the planet at one point, like we already discussed in ancient times. But when the Great Flood happened, all the smart people, smart creatures, humans, extraterrestrials, went down into bunkers or into cave systems to avoid the Great Flood, and everybody who stayed on top basically became dumbasses, or they regressed, or they basically regressed back to caveman times
Yeah.
almost
Mhm.
because of the destruction of their society. So it would make sense if there were certain races of extraterrestrial slash people below the earth.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about the reptilians actually being earth creatures that live in the earth as well, but
I mean,
they're not actually ETs.
they have a city of gold supposedly underneath LA, but
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, if I can find it, I'll trip off that gold and make some money. But that's all I know. But
You have to fight the reptilians for it first.
Doctor Who trained me for that. Doc, the doctor trained me for that. God damn it! But I don't know. I mean, these reptiles. Could they be? I mean, that would make sense too. I guess. I guess. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, because
I haven't had
reptilian,
any. I haven't had any experience with them, so I have no idea.
but maybe that's why you haven't. Because they're not extraterrestrial. They're just basically mole people, but reptilians. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, supposedly there's ant-looking extraterrestrials that live beneath New York City as well, from what I've been told. So,
Hmm.
don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stories of things being below us that we don't know about,
Yeah.
or that are legends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, alligators in the stores in New York City. Could they be reptilians? Who the freak really knows?
It's just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I'm not saying I don't believe that. I'm
They
not
just
saying I
want
don't
some
believe that.
pizza.
Well, I mean, it is New York City, and
Yeah.
as a native New Yorker, fuck yeah, pizza from New York City is the shit.
Pizza.
So, especially New York City pizza. God, I'll live in a store in Queens if I got pizza from there every day. Jesus. So, I mean, God, yeah, it's just, okay, now I'm getting hungry. God damn it. It's a long drive to New York from here, but since we actually just kind of glossed over this a minute ago, and we are, holy crap, it's already been almost an hour? Jesus.
Mhm.
If this goes a little bit over, I'm not going to be too upset, but I will say, I got to ask, because I asked every paranormal podcaster this, what do you think of dogmen?
Hmm. That's another one I haven't had any experience with. But for some reason, they just always make me think of like werewolves. Like, what's the difference between a
Mm,
dog man and a werewolf? Is there a
werewolf,
difference?
werewolves were created by popular media from the existence of dogmen.
Okay. But
That's
do they look
that's my
different? Do you know? Do they supposedly does a dog look different than a
there
werewolf?
there are two species of dogmen technically
Okay.
from what we learned because I've had God fucking it. The North I've had people from the NADP on my podcast before. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, dude. I just totally blanked on your name and I freaking love you. It was a long time ago I talked to him and I haven't seen him on Facebook in a minute, but oh my God, it's right there. I can't think of it though. I mean, I've had a couple of them on, and their evidence is pretty overwhelming that dogmen exist,
Cool.
and you say that now, but you say that now,
I
but
like weird stuff, even if it's supposed to be
I,
scary.
I I love weird stuff too, but there are certain things I don't want to run into in the middle of the woods, and that'd be
Yeah,
one of them.
Dogman's one.
I mean, there are two different species of dogmen from what we know. One's more aggressive, one's just territorial.
Mhm.
One looks like a dogman on steroids, and one just looks like a what we would picture from movies a werewolf.
Okay.
But the difference is dogmen don't. If you shoot a dogman with a silver bullet, it's just gonna kill you more. It's not gonna do shit to it. So two, dogmen don't change to human ever. There's no full moon bullshit. It's
Mhm.
just
That's
they're
just what they
dogs.
are.
They're sentient dogs who can walk and talk like humans or run on all fours, depending on how fast they want to kill you.
Hmm.
And I mean, other than that, there's just none of the other werewolf lore really makes sense with
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
I mean, because they're not werewolves. Werewolves are humans who change.
Yeah.
Dogmen are, dogmen are more, what's the fucking, lichen. They're more like lichens. They
Mhm.
are just fully in wolf form at all times, and they're just extremely fast, extremely powerful, and they're all over the world. They're all over the world. I've
Yeah.
heard stories from every country on the earth, besides Antarctica, and I wouldn't doubt they're there somewhere too. But
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I like all kinds of cryptid stuff. So, but yeah, that's not something I've had an experience with yet either.
I mean, I have only talked to maybe two people out of 200 something that actually
Mhm.
have,
Yeah.
and one of them worked for the NADP, so that's saying something. But and the other one believes they saw it. The dog man. They weren't 100% sure exactly what what they are. And I'm sorry, what the hell is that word? They're
Kobolds.
practicing. What the hell are kobolds? This is something new to me.
Don't you know D&D, man?
Oh no, I was a nerd. I was not that big a nerd.
A kobold is a dog man.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
if it hasn't been on Stranger Things and it's on D&D, I don't know it. I'm sorry. Jesus. Jesus.
Well, I mean,
But
yeah, it's just like pretty much the same thing. It's just like a humanoid body with like a dog head. Yeah.
well, I mean that's basically Anubis.
Yeah, but it's what you're describing as like of the dog man.
But I mean, one of my first guests, Christopher Susi, a author slash actor, he he did tell me tales of his fellow soldier in the army he was in the troop with, and they saw a statue of Anubis in Egypt, and this guy freaked the fuck out, like, what the hell is that? And like they tried explaining, like, Egyptian god, not a big deal. And he was like, big deal. I've seen a creature like that twice when I was a kid in my backyard in New Orleans,
Wow.
which, as everybody who's into the paranormal knows, Rougarou territory.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
So that right there, that's one of the things that really brought it home. I mean, I've heard enough experiences before this anyway, but that really brought it home when I heard that told to my own face. That like, yeah, we've seen these. And it's just like, eh, we. But I mean, it's just, and the fact, I mean, Beast of Bray Road, the Beast of In Between the Lakes, the Michigan Dogman. There are so many famous cases of these creatures,
Yeah.
especially in that Midwest, that northern Midwest area. Like, there's a lot of
Hmm.
examples of this creature, and I just had his fucking name too for a second. It fucking slipped. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. But if he even listens. But my the first guy from that ADP I got who is in charge of actually that region, that Michigan and Detroit, Chicago, and all that are in. He took a trip to Land Between the Lakes. And he said, the first part of the island that you get off the ferry in, like any other wooded area, you see roadkill, you hear birds singing, you see squirrels and shit running through the woods.
Yeah.
You get to the second half of the island, there's no sounds. There's no roadkill. There's nothing.
Weird.
There's nothing but an eerie feeling. And it's just like, okay, okay, don't want to be here anymore. And I
Mm.
mean, that's the part of the island too that the family got slaughtered by something that cops thought was a serial killer, but serial killers don't throw the bodies of little girls up in the trees. Sorry,
Nice.
that's not an MO.
Hmm.
And I mean the story of I think they're scouts, Eagle Scouts or something. They went camping there, and something was around their campsite the whole night. And eventually, they got in their car and they just left, and there was something chasing their car as they were leaving. So, I mean, I don't know. There's too many stories for me not to believe that dogmen don't exist.
Yeah.
That's that's my bottom line. But you really have you ever? So, do you truly think dogmen exist, or is it just an interesting topic you like to talk about?
I think any of this stuff's possible. But even though I'm a medium and I've experienced a lot of weird stuff, a lot of times I still will be skeptical of things until I've experienced it for myself.
I mean, there are certain things though, like dogmen, I can't be
Mhm.
skeptical of because to me, it's just there's proof of this. There is such proof of this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like to me that's like saying, "Oh, Bigfoot's not real." I will slap a motherfucker for saying that because
I have a Bigfoot experience, but it's one of those things where I didn't see it. It was a psychic thing. Um,
I that kind of
yeah,
actually makes me want to hear more. That makes me want to hear more because I've
yeah.
heard enough about what it looks like. What's it think?
We lived in a very middle of nowhere place in like the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I was
Mm,
driving home from somewhere. It was dark, it was nighttime, and we lived on a dirt road off of another road. And I turned onto the dirt road, and all of a sudden, I just felt like I was on high alert. And it was like if, like, the hair standing up on the back of my neck. And I'm like, there's a Bigfoot, and there's a Bigfoot here right now. Like I just knew it. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't smell anything. I just knew it. And then
Huh.
we were at it back in November. We took a trip to Lake Shawnee Amusement Park out in West Virginia, also a place in the woods in the mountains. And
Mm-hmm.
as I was doing a paranormal psychic sweep of the area, I look across the road to a mountain on the other side, and I'm like, there's a family of Bigfoot that live over there. So psychically, I've picked up on Bigfoot twice.
That is truly, truly. I've never heard of someone psychically picking up on it. I've heard of. I mean, jeez, that's amazing. That truly is amazing. I mean, I almost rather hear that than the old story of I saw something big and furry.
Yeah. I mean, I would
That
love
was
to see a Bigfoot. I would love to see one, but yeah, I haven't actually seen it with my eyes. I just sense
I
it.
would I would love to sit there and converse and try to converse with one through sign language or something.
Yeah.
Like I would.
I mean,
That's my dream. That's
I
my
wonder
dream. I
if we
mean,
could telepathically communicate with a Bigfoot.
highly believed theory that is possible.
Yeah.
I will tell you that much.
Because
But
you can telepathically communicate with animals, so why not with Bigfoot too?
exactly. I mean, I've had enough pet memes and pet psychics on here to tell me that that's true. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's the way it goes.
Let's
But
go. That's what I'm going that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna telepathically communicate with Bigfoot.
I might
Maybe
need to
maybe
come on
one
that.
day.
I might need to come on that trip and film it just for shits and giggles. Just saying. Just saying. But
Maybe one day.
someday. But I don't know. I think the government has been a little too protected. But
Maybe.
but all right. Well, we are past the hour at this point, and so I want to give you a chance, of course, to let people know about your podcast and what it's about. So
Yeah.
why don't you tell us about it?
All right. So my husband and I, which is Jenny the Frost, we have a podcast called the Witching Hours Podcast. It's streamed live on Twitch on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can also find it on YouTube and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's similar to this one where we just have guests on to talk about real weird stuff. And it's kind of free form, just conversation. And then my Medium stuff is at mediumjennylea.com, and I offer a lot of different services. I also stream live on Twitch. You can find anything you need to find about me every place that I exist on the internet from my website, mediumjennylea.com.
Well, there you go, folks. That's where you can find her, and please go check out her show. Maybe you'll see me on there one day. It's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
I do like to throw my hat in a different paranormal podcast and just kind of school people. That's just my thing. But I have heard so much about the paranormal in the last decade that's all my brain thinks about 24/7. So
Yeah,
I am.
there's
It's
a
the reason I'm
lot
going
of weird
bald.
stuff.
It's the reason I'm going bald, for God's sakes. So gonna look like a damn gray eventually. But uh, well, folks, all my regular listeners and watchers, you know where to find me. If you don't, or you're new, or you're one of Jenny's fans, I will say it again. I will actually say it this time for your pleasure. You're welcome. But you could find me usually streaming on Facebook once StreamYard gets their shit together on the Uncensored, Untamed, and Unapologetic UQ Podcast Collective. Or you can find me on Facebook streaming on the Parapost Network normally. Fuck Facebook, fuck StreamYard right now. But it's been a hard couple weeks. But you can also find me on X and the Gram, always streaming on X. On the Gram, I stream sometimes, but I think it's going to be less than an hour for conversation because Instagram needs to get their shit together. But I'm on both those as at Juggalo Bastard. And I am also on TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast. Come see clips of some of my other podcasts. Not exactly this one too much. I don't get enough time to clip these. But you can see other clips I've done and some fun stuff. And you can see my haunted garage. So check it out. Lots of orbs. Lots of orbs. But you can also always find me streaming on YouTube as Paranormal Normal, where you're watching now, most likely. Or you could also catch me on Blind Knowledge Network. Proud member of that as well. Because all knowledge is blind, as we in the paranormal like to know and believe. So, because everything's blind because we're hidden by the government. That's what it is. The government hides everything from us, so we're fucking blind. But I digress. I digress, people. But yes, you can find me in any of those things, and feel free. Come check it out. Come add me. I usually follow ad back unless you look like you're not a real person, which that's your problem, not mine. But I want to thank Jenny for coming on because it's been a freaking this hour flew the hell by. Oh my
Yes,
god,
always does. Thank you for having me.
it doesn't always though, and that's the thing. When it does, that's when it's a good episode. There are literally, there have been episodes where I'm sitting here like, "You broken? You broken? What the?" But I mean, it was a great episode. I'm really happy to have you on. And
Thanks.
folks, until Saturday evening, I believe I have another interview for you guys. But until then, I will hope you all have a good week, and I'll see you this weekend. Have a good one.